Welcome to Potter Familias, coming to you from Fairhope, Alabama.
I'm Todd Sylvester.
And I'm Stephen Sylvester.
We definitely do not like the same weather.
Nope. I think we are about as different as you can be, as it's possible to be.
And I'm pretty sure you're more human and I'm more reptile.
Well, I wasn't going to say it, but thank you.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. More people, I think, follow suit with what you like temperature-wise.
I like cold weather, you know? I don't like freezing weather.
Cooler weather.
Yeah,
You probably
cooler
like
weather.
cooler weather.
Yeah, so like Minnesota. I lived in Minnesota for 3 years, and that's where I went to college. That was not fun. Those winters were pretty rough. That was too much. But I do really enjoy weather that's, breezy, not chilly necessarily, but just cool weather.
And I like to be in an oven. So
Yes.
there you go.
Yep. Your body temperature is regulated exteriorly.
Some men have come to me and said, okay, my wife and I, we have a disagreement and they want me to mediate. And they're like, all right, Todd, what's the deal? My wife wants me to buy new clothes.
Okay.
And whenever it goes into that area, that genre, I always say I am the wrong person to talk with about this.
Yes, you are. You should probably direct them to me.
I'll direct them to someone else.
Yeah.
Because I will say to them, it's not fair for your wife who may have a case that you do need new clothes, because that's one thing where I've kind of drawn the line. Like my wife knows, your mom knows.
Yeah.
I don't want new pants. I don't want them.
Yeah, because you buy 10 pairs of the ones that you like.
The exact same pairs
Color
of
and
pants.
everything.
Color, everything. And I'm a cargo pant guy.
Which is crazy to me.
And I know some people, we've discussed this on a bonus episode where I was like, they're utilitarian. I use all the pockets. Like those people that have cargo pants that have never put anything in the pockets, I don't get them. I don't understand.
I don't think that you really have an argument there. I mean, like, cargo pants are cargo pants, bro. If you're wearing cargo pants, even if you're using them, they don't look good. And that has nothing to do with their utility. It's just...
Well, but then the question is, how important is style when it comes to your married relationship?
Well, depends on the situation. But I will tell you my rule of thumb. Why? What are your thoughts about it?
My thoughts are, it really does depend. Like if mom really had the smackdown on me and said, listen,
that term doesn't mean what you think it means, but go ahead.
But if she said, I can't handle it,
okay,
that you're wearing the cargo pants, like I am embarrassed to be in public.
I would also want to know what her reasons are. Like, are you wearing the cargo pants to go out to dinner?
Yeah, I am.
Are you wearing them to go to a wedding?
No, I've never worn them to a wedding.
Okay. Do you wear them to go?
I want to wear them to a wedding.
Do you wear them with a collared shirt, like to go to nice things, quote unquote?
Normally, no.
Okay.
But I probably would want to.
Have you worn a shirt with a tie with cargo pants?
Not that I can recall.
Okay. Then I think there's probably some lines to be drawn in there somewhere. So the rule of thumb for me is this, that style in terms of how you dress in a married relationship matters insofar as it has to do with your job, to like your profession, and your personal taste. And you have to find a balance between those two things. Because I know that for you, you say, yeah, it's utility. I use all the pockets. It's like, fair enough. That, to me, is all a part of personal taste.
Right.
Right? It has nothing to do with work, not really. Because you could wear a tool belt if you're going someplace where you need to have...
Heck yeah, you could.
You could. And it's like, look, fair enough. If you're going to wear a tool belt while you're working, while you're actively using it, go for it. That makes perfect sense to me.
Can you wear a tool belt to a wedding?
What doesn't make sense to me, because, again, that's a silly question, because I would never ask, like, are you going to wear cargo pants to a wedding? Like, it's like, obviously not, because I don't need to put anything in the pockets that I'm going to use. Like, is something wrong with your car, ma'am? Can I fix it for you while this wedding is going on? Obviously not.
But if that's the case, you're ready.
Obviously.
You are ready.
Obviously not the right time. So it's like the utility is still part of personal taste, because you're the one choosing to wear the equivalent of a tool belt to a wedding.
Right, but this is where the question lies, though. If my personal taste is different from your wife's personal taste.
Well, yeah, then you have to find a balance. So I'll give you another example from my personal life where I, for the longest time, I styled my hair in a way that looked absolutely ridiculous. Like I want to like purge all of the photos from the internet from that time. Do you remember when I had like clown hair? When I was transitioning from doing the hipster haircut to the long hair thing? Do you remember?
No.
My hair looked ridiculous. I'll show you a picture later, but my hair looked absurd. And it looked absurd for like 2 months.
Okay.
And then it finally got long enough to where it was all the same length, and then it's been long ever since.
Okay.
And my wife loves that. She remembers having the conversation with herself where she was like, all right, do I tell him how much of an idiot he looks like, or do I just let him ride it out knowing that he's changing his style? And she thankfully just let me ride it out, and now we can both kind of look back in embarrassment on that time in my life.
Yeah, but what would have been the alternative?
Well, the alternative is if I was wearing that hairstyle and had no plans to change it and it didn't look professional.
Yeah.
Because I can make long hair look professional, and I understand the necessity of that.
I don't know if that works because that's a transitional thing that you're talking about. I don't want to transition.
Well, but what if I picked that? What if I picked that hairstyle?
But she knew that you weren't.
Yeah, and if I was going to pick that hairstyle, she would have said something to me, because it's more than just I don't like the way that your hair looks. It's your hair looks silly in pictures, and it looks like people are not going to take you seriously at work.
Yeah. But and those are kind of extreme things. For a while, I was cutting my hair. I was cutting my own hair, if you remember.
Doing the buzz cut.
Right, doing the buzz cut. And it was just so easy and fast. And at the time, we had our coffee shop, and I just didn't want to deal with anything else because I was working 80 hours a week. And it was just so much easier. Mm-hmm. So one time, I was in the bathroom, and I broke out the clippers, and I was about to go. And Mom's like, stop. I was like, what? What's wrong? Thinking she needed me for something. She goes, no, I don't like that haircut.
Okay.
Like, you've got to stop. It had nothing to do with whether it was professional or not, and it didn't necessarily look silly. This is what she said. She goes, it looks like you've gone through chemotherapy.
Oh, wow.
Like, it doesn't look good on you.
Okay.
Now, I didn't agree. I thought it looked fine, but she didn't like it. Therefore, I was like, all right, let's put the clippers away because I think it's more important for her to like my hair than it is for me to like the utility of it.
Well, then I think that answers the question, right? So is style important? Well, it depends on what things you're willing to give up about your personal taste, let's say, because your spouse either doesn't think it looks good or it doesn't match their personal taste. And
right.
What's interesting is that I think with my wife, we haven't had to have as many of those conversations because we both started out sort of thinking that the way that we look is important enough to put time into it.
Right.
And granted, she puts a lot more time into it than I do, but that's also the guy versus girl thing. So we already were kind of at the same level of thinking about it, and now we kind of dress the same without meaning to. Right. So we've evolved over time. But if she came to me and was like, hey, your hair makes you look like a dirty hippie, like it looks gross, and we really need to talk about you changing your haircut, then I would be open to it. I'd be like, okay, like what do you think would be better? But it's not like I'm just going to roll over and be like, whatever you say. It's like you have to have a conversation.
Right, right. And I'm just glad because the times with Mom and I where, you know, I went through an overall time.
Yes, I remember.
And then I like my coveralls. I really do.
Yep.
Now, those I know you can't wear those out in public. I mean, you can't go to the store.
Please don't.
I think I actually have a couple times only because I've gone to get like tools or gone to the hardware store and I just didn't want to change. and I have gotten some looks. Like,
I mean, look,
like, what are you doing, man? Are you climbing underneath the car? And I have to go back and say, yes.
Respect.
Yes, I am climbing underneath the car. Thank you very much.
Respect. I'm not knocking it. I just would never do it.
But it's what's nice is even though I'm sure Mom probably would like me to dress a little bit nicer, she's like, you know, I see how comfortable you are.
Yeah, and it'd be different for me, by the way, if I wasn't a musician. If I didn't have to think about the way that I'm presenting myself to an audience, then it would be totally different.
Right, right. That makes sense. So to answer the question, it really, I think, should start a conversation.
Yeah.
And you got to find that sweet spot. You
have to be willing to compromise. I know everybody hates that word, but you have to be willing to give if you're going to expect the same from your spouse. You have to talk through it.
Right. And I'm just so grateful. I mean, I love everything that Mom wears.
Yeah. And I love everything that my wife wears too. So no problems there. But
and we've
you have
gotten
to
better
talk about it.
We've gotten better with the hair because Mom now cuts my hair.
Hey.
I mean, she has for years and years, and it's like I'll say to her, "Cut it the way you want it."
Yeah, that's perfect.
Because then I'm good. There you go.
Right on.
All right. Thanks so much for listening to Pod of Familias.
Appreciate y'all.